right, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to the Massachusetts Safe Routes to School webinar on park and walks and in-school activities. My name is Anna Isaacson, and I'm a school outreach coordinator with the Safe Routes to School program, and I will be your moderator today. So first I'm just going to give you some tips on how to enjoy the webinar. Please do keep your phone muted throughout the webinar, so press *6 to mute your phone line. And then also this presentation is going to be recorded, so if you miss anything, it'll have a recording. So if you have any questions or issues, this just shows how to ask a question. You should have in the right-hand corner of your screen a way to send a note to Ben Hammer, who's the host. So throughout the webinar, we'll welcome questions. And I want to start just by introducing our objectives for this webinar. So we hope that by the end of the webinar you will understand the benefits of Safe Routes to School programs and also understand how to plan and hold park and walk activities and in-school activities, and also be comfortable just going back to your community or your school and implementing these programs. I'm going to start with a quick introduction to Safe Routes to School. Safe Routes to School is a national program that's in all 50 states. Here in Massachusetts, we work with about a third of the school in the states, and it's administered by Mass Rides on behalf of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. We say that successful school-based programs incorporate all 5 E's. So you see them there: education, encouragement, enforcement, evaluation, and engineering. And promoting safe walking and biking to schools has a host of benefits. We won't go through all of them today, but I do hope you'll take some time to reflect on what interests you about this program and what benefits Safe Routes to School could add to your community. So as you know, today's topic is Safe Routes to School for All, park and walks and in-school activities. We recognize that many students live quite far away from school, and for these students, walking or biking to school every day isn't possible. Park and walks and in-school activities are 2 ways that schools can ensure that Safe Routes to School programs include all students, even those who live far away. A park and walk is an activity in which a school designates a remote parking area from which parents and students can walk together as a group to school. We'll talk about the logistics of these events and creative ideas for making it fun. And we'll also discuss ways to teach and encourage active transportation beyond the walk to and from school. So now I'm going to hand the mic over to Heather Drake, who's my fellow Safe Routes to School outreach coordinator here at Mass Rides. And Heather's going to share a few examples of what this can look like in practice. So here you go, Heather.
Hi everyone, as Anna said, my name is Heather Drake, and I am another school outreach coordinator with Safe Routes to School. Our first example today is Job Lane School in Bedford. Job Lane has been a partner with us since 2009. Every International Walk to School Day, Massachusetts Walk and Bike to School Day, and during Bike Week, the school holds bike trains. They send an informational flyer home requiring that all students who wish to participate wear helmets, and they ask the parents to check their child's backpack to make sure it fits properly while riding their bikes. The students then meet at a Marshall's parking lot and take a 2-mile route to school along a bike path. There are bike committee members and other experienced riders at the meeting spot to help supervise the students, and they also do quick bike checks to make sure that the bikes are safe to ride. When parents bring their students to the meeting spot, they sign them in, and they indicate how they will get home that afternoon. If the students choose to ride the bikes home with a supervised ride, each student gets a ribbon tied to the bike to help the volunteers identify them. And at the end of the day, students taking part in the ride are dismissed 5 minutes early from school. Our next example is South Row Elementary in Chelmsford. South Row has been a partner with us also since 2009. This is an example of one of our in-school activities to help include all students. Every spring, the school engages in a Walk Across America program. The students walk laps at recess, which is supervised by a PE teacher, and they track the laps using traveler tickets. Once the tickets complete, they're collected, and the students receive a jelly bracelet, and they're able to indicate what color they would like. Each complete ticket equals 5 miles. A parent champion within the school will then track the miles, and they mark each milestone city on a map that's displayed in the school's lobby. Classroom teachers are then able to use the milestone cities if they choose in their classroom lessons. Last spring, the students were able to walk all the way to the Grand Canyon in 4 weeks. Our third example is Field Elementary in Weston. They're one of our newer partners signing on this past spring in 2011. This October, they held their first International Walk to School Day and had 99% participation. Prior to the walk, the local police and principal held bike and pedestrian safety lessons during lunch. Local police and Regis College police were also notified of the event and were present at the event to help with directing traffic and crossing streets. The Department of Public Works, as well as the PTO, also posted signs around the school and the community announcing the walks. All students were opted into the event, which assumed their participation. Slips were signed only if the students chose not to participate, and this is what helped lead to the 99% participation rate. Students were bused to the school as usual to drop off their bags and instruments, and then were taken to the Park and Walk site at the Regis College Fine Arts Center, a half a mile from the school. 2 chaperones, including parents and Regis College students, were then assigned to each walking group, and they walked to school. Our last example is Heights Elementary in Sharon, which has been partnered with Safe Routes since 2010. This school uses lunchtime rallies prior to their school's walk-to-school days to get students excited for the event. They send home a flyer and an email blast and notify the police and fire departments to gain their support on the day of the walk. The school identifies meetups approximately 1 mile from the school, and the routes are mapped with parent volunteers leading each of the groups. For students who are unable to walk to the school, a faculty or staff member is on hand to supervise students to walk around the track of the gym that morning. All 550 students at the school are able to walk to school or at school on the day of the event.
Thanks, Heather. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers, but first I wanted to remind you that if you have questions about any of these presentations, you can send a message to Ben. So you'll see in the right-hand corner, Ben Hammer, he's the host. You can type your questions there. So first we're going to hear from Cindy Coughlin and Sandra Collins. Cindy is the PE teacher, and Sandra is the school adjustment counselor at Beale School in Springfield. And then we're going to hear from Nadine Stein, who's the principal at Northeast Elementary School in Waltham. So bear with us as we transfer the mic over to Cindy and Sandra. Cindy and Sandra?
Yes.
Great. Hi.
Hi.
We're about to transfer presentation rights over to you. One second. Thanks, everybody. All right, Sandra, are you able to move through the slides now?
Let me see. Yes.
There we go. It's all yours. Take it away.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Collins, and I am the School Adjustment Counselor at Beale School. We're an urban school in Springfield serving about 285 students. I do a lot of collaborative work with the phys ed teacher. Our focus is physical education and socialization at the same time. One of the things that we do as part of our Safe Routes program is the Good Neighbor Walk. And this is comprised of, we do lessons together, and again, when I say we, I'm always talking about the phys ed teacher and myself. We do lessons together with the students. We talk about, how to be a good neighbor, how to walk in the neighborhood. So we do a lot of in-class work, and then we take the students out into the neighborhood. Before we do that, we have their signed permission slips by all the families so that we can take them off campus. And we have always had a 100% participation rate, and this allows us to take the children throughout the neighborhood for the actual walking component of our program. Again, we teach them how to cross the street, how to use community voices, how not to, you're not picking up things, you're not touching things, just really how to be a good neighbor and how to walk on the sidewalk. A lot of children don't know safety issues about walking on the sidewalk, so we teach them about how to walk on the sidewalk. We also, while we're doing this, again, we're focusing on the benefits of exercise. We're focusing on the benefits of just being a member of your community, and we're talking about socialization, so we're tying those components in. We do one class at a time, and so we'll, in the course of the day, we'll take up to 6 classes out for these walks around the neighborhood. Another program that we do is called Footloose Friday, and we do these typically from September to December and then from March until May. We measure a path outside of our school that's about a 1/4 mile path. We have the land that we're able to do that. And the children, our school day starts at 8:30, and the children have to be in the building at 8:45. So for those 15 minutes, students come and they walk. One of the rules is that you have to have breakfast beforehand because we don't want children going in and out to eat breakfast. So the children either eat breakfast at home or they eat breakfast in the cafeteria and then come outside and walk. They check in with Cindy or I. We check in the grade levels, and the students have to check in with us. If teachers walk, an incentive is that the teachers can earn 2 extra points for their class. And the whole purpose of the points and the checking in is that we have a competition which class has the highest percentage rate of walkers. Our data, we've been doing this for over a 1.5 years now, and our data shows that on our Footloose Fridays we have an increase in attendance and we have a decrease in tardiness. Classes that have the highest participation rate win an award for the week. They win either the Golden Sneakers or the Silver Sneakers award, and they're allowed to display those sneakers in their classroom. And in the afternoon when we announce the winners, you can actually hear the students screaming throughout the building because they're just so excited. It's really brought a sense of community to our school, and it's also built a relationship between the students and the teachers because the teachers might not want to go out there and walk, but the students are really good at motivating them to go out and walk to earn those 2 extra points for their school. Our family park and walks, like someone said before, are a smaller version of our International Walk to School Day events. We are about 5 blocks away from an Elks Club lodge, and they allow us to use their parking lot for our events. So on the park and walk days, which are once a month, and again, we do them in the fall and in the spring due to the weather. Families can park in the parking lot and then walk their children to school. It's about a 5-block walk, and then they walk back to the school after they've dropped their child off. It's less teacher involvement because it's just Cindy and I that are kind of working the parking lot because the families walk their children down, so there doesn't need to be any teacher supervision along the route. We at times will have the buses pull in and drop the children off there so we can have more participation. Our participation rate for the park and walks is not 100% because again it's just voluntary and we don't we don't have the teachers involved. But they've been very successful, and we've again tracked the data of children that are involved and the families that are involved, and there's a consistency the families that do it on a regular basis. Again, all of these programs, there's no cost. The sneakers were old sneakers that we had donated. We spray painted them. It's a lot of it is Cindy and I. It takes a lot of organization in the beginning, but then once you have it set up, it runs very smoothly, and we have found it to be very successful. So now I'll turn it over to Cindy, or excuse me, I'm still talking about the community helpers. We do a lot of work with Safe Kids of Western Mass. Our local school bus company is very understanding when we ask them to reroute for the day. We do a lot of work with our kitchen manager because on our International Walk to School Days and Mass Walk to School Days, we serve breakfast up in the parking lot, so we do a lot of work with her. We've done some work with the bicycle unit of our police department, which Cindy will talk about, and we do a lot of work with the Springfield Fire Department around safety education. And quite often at our larger events, we'll have the police presence and the fire department, and Safe Kids of Western Mass will have a presence. Again, just building that community. So now I'll turn it over to Cindy.
Hi, I'm Cindy Coughlin. I teach physical education at Field School, and I'm going to talk to you about a few different programs that we do also. Our school takes part in both Massachusetts Walk to School Day and International Walk to School Day. We always have a few weeks before each event to discuss with each class what International and Massachusetts Day means. So we talk about exercising, socialization, saving gas, helping the earth, and not polluting the air. We then have the students design posters for our events. Our very first Walk to School Day was in 2007. We asked the entire school to come outside at 9 a.m. to walk 2 laps around the school building. We were excited and happy to see that everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and there was no complaints or problems. The next year, we were thrilled to expand our walk to the sidewalk in front of our school and even had students make posters for our now 10-minute walk. Every year we added something to our walk, and now our walks have become an extravaganza. We now work with our local Elks Club, using their parking lot to hold each walk. Our Elks Club is about a quarter mile away from our school. We also work with many community groups to help make the program a huge success. Before each event, we send a letter home to the parents explaining about the day and asking the parents to drop their children off at the Elks Club. Letters also get sent home to our city officials and to the school administration, inviting them to join us as we celebrate walking to school. We, of course, invite the media, and we even call the bus companies who are willing to work with us to drop off the students at the Elks Club so that no student misses out on the day. Our walk event days start early with us setting up speakers for music, breakfast food, cones for parking, and student drop-off areas. We also chalk off areas for each classroom. Our parent volunteers help to serve breakfast for all the students, which we coordinate with the kitchen manager who orders breakfast bars, fruit, juice, and milk. The program at the Elks Club lasts about 20 minutes with dancing and photo ops. After our time limit is up, the students form a walking parade, and they walk down the sidewalk to our school. Each classroom holds signs that they've made while they walk back to class. Sometimes they even can't walk to school. Our students look forward to our walk days. They have become quite popular. And the past 2 walk days, we've had 100% participation, minus a few students who are absent for the day. We feel that our walk to school days have had the least absenteeism than any other day. One special event that we have done in the past is to promote walking and bicycling to school is to put on our walking challenge, where students register as they come into school each morning if they have walked or rode their bikes to school. As their names are checked off daily, they are given a small token prize such as a pencil, a gel bracelet, sneaker token, etc. Some of the prizes are from Safe Routes program, and some are purchased through our PTO or our school budget. These prizes are quite inexpensive but are really popular with the students. At the end of the 2 weeks, all the students that participated in the challenge got their name entered into a drawing for a prize. It was just another way to get the families and the students to try to walk to school. As you can see, we have a tally sheet that just to show you what we did for the students who rode the bus to school. And we wanted to try to keep them part of the program, so they took the challenge chart home with them. Many of our activities or events that we are doing are always in conjunction with Safe Kids of Western Mass. We have a wonderful working relationship with Mandy Summers and Magda Rodriguez. They are always up for any crazy idea that we have, and I tell you, we do have some crazy ideas. We call on Safe Kids to help us coordinate all of our Safe Route events. We have had Safe Kids help us with our bike rodeos, bringing in fancy cutouts, helping to properly fit helmets, and give new helmets to students who need them. They also have presented car safety check workshops where they explain to parents the importance of children using car seats and have fitted some children properly with a car seat for their age. That has been beneficial to parents who couldn't afford a car seat for their child. And of course, Safe Kids always come to every International and Massachusetts Walk to School Day, helping out, handing out breakfast and walking to school back to school with the children, and even giving us some small treats. We could not have done many of the programs without their help. It's been advantageous for us to work with many different organizations. Our police department bicycle unit has helped with our bike rodeo, bringing in new helmets, inspecting the bikes for safety, and giving some quick bike tune-up so that the children can ride safely. It's important to understand that we started off doing a quick walk around the school, and then each year we added on to our programs and special events. We involved many different organizations to help us grow. Starting small is the best advice I can give to you. As you can see, one simple idea changed and developed into something totally different. This year, Sandra and I are looking forward to seeing what we'll do in the coming months. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That was great. Thanks so much, Cindy and Sandra. It's amazing what you guys do. I think that's cool that you guys got the lowest absenteeism on Walk to School days. So now we're going to hand it over to Nadine Stein. Nadine, are you there? So just press *6, Nadine.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Nadine Stein. I'm principal at Northeast Elementary School in Waltham. We have a pre-K to 5 school with almost 500 students, although our walking program is primarily for our K to 5 students. We have 399 right now. We have been participating in a walking program since 2005, and like the program that you heard before, it really has evolved over time. We decided to do it because we wanted to, we had a theme the year we decided to do it was healthy minds, healthy bodies, healthy attitudes, and we were looking for ways to help kids be active, and walking seemed to be the easiest thing to do, and certainly it would be less traffic. 85% of our students ride the bus, so we were looking for less traffic and less congestion and less pollution. Oops, hold on a second. So when we first started planning, we planned a May walk, and it was a pretty large group of people planning. We had teachers, parents, and community members. We had a series of evening meetings, And we ended up with having 2 walking buses, both about, one definitely a mile away and one maybe a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile away, depending on what side of the neighborhood you're coming up to the school. One of them meets kind of at a little intersection in the neighborhood, and one of them meets in a church parking lot. And they're led by teachers, 2 teachers in each group. We also, because not everybody could do that, we partnered with the bus company, and parents gave permission for their children to get off the bus and walk from a few blocks away. We also, so what we did was we walked the whole first week in May, and then we walked every Wednesday from May until the end of the school year for Walking Wednesdays. We had a recess walking club for grade 5 students that we walked around the neighborhood. And the first week in May we had daily incentives. We coordinated colored jelly bracelets and fruit. So on Monday, the kids who walked got a red apple and a red jelly bracelet, and on Tuesday, an orange jelly bracelet and an orange, and so on. The first year, Safe Routes to School gave us the bracelets, and we got the fruit donated. There we are. The second year, we added a fall program, and it really mirrors the spring program in that we do a week of walking in October. We walk every Wednesday until the weather gets bad. And we gave orange and black bracelets out for Halloween, and we added a Halloween Safe Routes pledge. We also added grade 4 to the Recess Walking Club. And then that spring, we added a pedestrian safety training for grade 2 students, and we worked with I think it was Mass Rides. They came out and trained some parents to walk around the neighborhood with children, showing them the correct ways to walk across the street and look for traffic, that kind of a thing. That same year, we were able to, through donations, buy this mascot costume, and we had a contest to name the mascot. The mascot's name is Hootie, and Hootie does walk with us on some days. It's cumbersome. It's hard to wear and walk in, but the kids do love Hootie. They love seeing Hootie. And when we do walk to school, one of our chants is Northeast Walks to School, hoot, hoot, in honor of our friend Hootie. This is a copy of our Safe Routes pledge that we made for Halloween. We made it in a little poem, and we had everybody sign it. Safe Routes to Schools had reflectors, so when kids came in with a signed pledge, we gave them a reflector so they could wear that on Halloween and also throughout the neighborhood whenever they were walking. It's one of our little groups. So what we decided to do was, our incentive was to challenge the students to, I think with the first year we said if 100 students walk, myself and the assistant would dye our hair blue and yellow. And we did that the first year. The second year we painted our faces, and they met the challenge. And every year since then we have done a different challenge with them. I think I would talk about that later. So the next year we added winter walking because a lot of kids really wanted to walk all year, and we don't always have weather that precludes us from walking. So we have added a winter walk once a month, December through April, and the kids get hot chocolate when they arrive. And our first one is next Wednesday, and the hot chocolate is donated by a very generous parent. The year 07-08, kids who walked got a little sneaker, and we made a big display in our lobby area with big shoes. An art teacher participated by drawing us some big shoes so kids could see over time the visual of our walking. Since that time, we really just continued with our walking. We do have these little stuffed animals, these little owl stuffed animals, and kids who walk participate in a drawing to carry around. They can have the stuffed animal for a week. A little Hootie, they're called. We purchased the incentives ourselves through our student activities account, and that has worked out fine. We do get some donations for the fruit in the spring, but the school department has done a nice job of giving us a decent price for fruit in the spring. And we do submit our own stories to the local newspaper. So these are the challenges that we've done over the past 7 years. So this year we are going to dye our hair blue and yellow. The idea is that no kid will see the same challenge. The challenges are a lot of fun, and the kids really, really go wild when we do these things. And I like them too. I wouldn't say I go wild, but I do like them. They're a lot of fun. So some of the questions that I was told people might have was how we get parent permission. We send an informational letter home. We send everything home in English and Spanish. And when I do the letter in the September, it lasts for the whole year. So people don't have to continue to give us permission. And I make sure that that's written in the letter. And the same thing with volunteers. The letter that goes home in the fall asks about volunteers. We have, every year we've had kind of a different number of parent volunteers. I think it just depends on what's going on in people's lives. This year we have a lot of people volunteering and walking with us, but people do like to distribute the bracelets or the hot chocolate, and we do rely on parent volunteers and also teacher volunteers. In terms of the winter walks, I mean, kids really love the hot chocolate. They're asking for it in September, so that seems to be a great incentive for them. I wish we could walk more frequently in the winter months, but unfortunately, not everybody shovels outside their house, and it's just really not safe. From the very beginning, our bus company has been great working with us. The bus drivers they want to do it every day. But I don't really think that's possible because there is a time factor. But I let them know in the beginning of the year when the walks are going to be. We last year had a new challenge because we discovered that the whole bus was emptying out in terms of the walking. So we challenged buses to see who could get every single kid on the bus to walk, and the incentive was that they got to decorate the school bus. And the bus was decorated with signs that said, all the students on this bus walk to school. And that was pretty cool, and I think we will be doing that again this year. The Our Lady's parking lot is a parking lot that we use to meet up in, and we connected with them. We have a relationship with them in that they're the place that we go to in the event of an emergency. But it was great. They've been very willing to help out. Our meeting time doesn't conflict with their morning mass, so it does work out pretty well. That's the thing about the buses. This year we partnered with Healthy Waltham to be a part of the First Lady's Initiative Against Childhood Obesity in the fall. And we gave the kids bracelets that said, "Let's Move Waltham" on them, green bracelets. They like the bracelets a lot. So there are a couple of things that we continue to address. One is the shoveling business. The other is not having a consistent number of volunteers. I mean, very lucky that the same teachers have been doing the walking program since we started, and we do encourage other people to walk, and they often do, but we're lucky we have a nice core of people. And then we have a large number of children with intensive special needs who ride vans, and we haven't included them yet because it's not the walk is not appropriate for them, and we're trying to figure out a way to modify the walking program so they could be included in it also. And we already had one empty bus, and all but one student get off a bus in November. We've never had that before, so that's really great. And we really find it a program that is become a part of our community. It was difficult for me to answer the question, how do you sustain it? It's become a part of the fabric of the community, and it's something that we do, and we're excited to do, and it's easy to do. Walking is great. And we had, I think you have to have we needed to have at least 6 teachers to commit because we needed 2 at each walking bus, and I needed 2 people to help me take kids off the bus because we really couldn't depend on a consistent volunteer base from the parents, and so that has been very, very, very helpful for us. And I'm very willing to send people any of the letters or forms that I have generated, and please feel free to send me an email, and that would be absolutely no problem. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Nadine. That was great. I have to say I went to one of the Northeast Walk to School Days last year, and I've never seen kids so excited to be out walking around in the rain. I think those challenges have a lot to do with it. It was great. And thanks for the added graphics as well, keeping us all entertained. So now we have some time for questions. So if you have a question, again in that right-hand corner, you can send a message to Ben Hammer. And I'm going to start it off and ask you both a question. This is for both of you. So please do unmute your phones, speakers, Sandra and Nadine and Cindy. So the question is, you all obviously put a lot of time and energy and work into these programs. And I'm wondering what your personal motivation is and what keeps you motivated to work on these. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead. Maybe we'll just do a sound check with the speaker. Sandra, are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
And Nadine, you're still there?
Yes, I am.
Great. And Cindy?
Yes.
Great. I don't know if either of you have thoughts on that question, what your personal motivation is.
Well, I know for Cindy and I, it was a takeoff of some other programs that we were doing in school. And she had heard about Safe Routes and connected with Safe Routes. And you know, our personal beliefs are very committed to fitness and being outdoors. And, you know, we see children coming to school that are obese and that aren't, because we are in a very urban city. We have a lot of children that just aren't getting outside and don't know, you know, don't even know their neighborhood. So, you know, that really propelled us to do this kind of stuff and get the children just out and walking. And like Nadine said, you know, kids are just so excited to be out walking because they don't usually have that opportunity. So seeing their excitement just fueled us even more to just do many more programs with our school.
We actually started the school walking program after the city had done a citywide walk, a Waltham walks, and we had a little focus group with a group of community members and parents about kind of how to sustain that. And their suggestion was to get kids walking, because the hope is that when kids are walking and excited about it, that they can help their families get excited about it. And I firmly believe that the more active you are, the better thinker you are, and the better student you're going to be, and the better thinker. So we really want to promote an active lifestyle with kids, because we have very high obesity levels in our community, and it's sad. They're little kids, and to a certain extent, you know, they don't. You know, we want to give them as many opportunities as we can to develop. To develop a habit that's really easy, it's free, and you can pretty much do it anywhere. And hopefully they'll do it on their own, and they'll bring their families along with them.
Thanks, both of you. It's very interesting. I guess I want to ask, there was a question that came up at the beginning when Heather was talking about the program at Weston. And Matt Lucy, the principal at Weston, is actually on the call. So the question was about how you managed to get 100% participation in your event. So maybe first we'll ask Matt that question, and then also I wanted to ask that question to Cindy and Sandra as well. So Matt, if you want to just unmute your phone and say hey. We'll give him a second.
Hi, yep.
Hi.
It's Matt Lucy speaking. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Terrific. We had a lot of interest in the Walk to Schools program, and because we also spent some time in planning and ensuring that we had a lot of comfort that it was a safe and useful experience, we decided to have students all opt in and have parents choose to opt them out. So we communicated to the parents, and if the parents were uncomfortable for whatever reason with the program, that they would then notify me that their child would not be participating. So in the end, we've got 380 students, and 2 students opted out.
Thanks, Matt. So the opt-out, very interesting approach. Cindy and Sandra, do you want to address that question as well, how you managed to get all of the kids participating?
Well, when we first started the programs, we had a high amount of participation. But then what would happen, those kids that didn't participate, when they came in the building and they felt the energy and they heard the other children talking about it, then that just took off for them to encourage them to walk. But we also have a custodian who does our traffic duty in the morning. So on our International and Massachusetts Walk to School Day, he's directing, go up the hill, go to the Elks Club, and he's really not letting families come in to drop off their children. So it's kind of a double two benefits there. One was just the word of mouth from the students and the excitement, but also he's pretty tough at pushing everybody up the hill.
Thanks again. So sort of making it mandatory. Interesting approach. That's great. So we have a question about what kind of resistance you get from parents as you're planning those events. And then I also wanted to add on if you get any resistance from school administrators or what kinds of resistance do you encounter and how do you approach that? So for any of you.
Well, I know at Beale we get some resistance from teachers. It's too cold, it's too far, I don't like to walk. So what we have done is we have just a few teachers that have been very vocal and very resistant. And so they stay at school. And a paraprofessional or one of our extra teachers, so to speak, will walk their students down. On our Footloose Fridays, when the teachers don't walk, and the students, might not win the sneakers for the week, some of them will, kind of harass the teacher, and then the teacher will reach out to another staff person to walk in their place, to earn their 2 points. From our administration, we haven't had too much resistance because we're not taking too much of the morning, so there's not a lot of time away from learning. On our Mass Walk Day and our International Walk Day, all the students are in the building, by 9:15, so it's only maybe a half hour of time that they're losing, and we're doing it, 12 hours. We have gone as far as showing some of the statistics with regards to high academics and the tie to physical movement, but and that's helped, but the resistance hasn't been that strong from our administrator.
It's Matt Lucy speaking.
Sure.
We had a great deal of support on part of parents. We had 45 parent volunteers, and some of the unexpected feedback that we received was having parents be more intimately involved with the day-to-day workings of the school, and for them to see how the staff worked with the students reinforced an idea of family. So it was an unexpected consequence, but one that was very powerful. And because our buses don't all arrive at the same time, they stagger anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes from first arrival to last arrival. Our classroom teachers need to be in the classroom. So although there was some concern that the start of the day was going to be stymied because of the waves of students entering the room, the faculty more or less embraced the idea that it was something worthwhile, and they rolled with it very, very easily.
Thanks, Matt. Nadine, do you want to jump in on that too?
Yeah, we have experienced very little resistance, and if parents choose not to give their child permission to walk, then that's their choice. Oftentimes, if there has only been two kids sitting on the bus and the bus is about to clear, the child will go home and beg their parent to let them walk. But we really haven't. I was a little concerned about the neighborhood walking in the morning and doing that little hooting all the way up the street, but we really haven't had any resistance. People are very excited about the program and very encouraging.
That's great. Thanks, all of you. Here's another question, again, for all of you. And I do want to bring Matt in on this, too, because Nadine and Cindy and Sandra have all been doing this for a while, and Matt's first year was just this year. So the question is, how long does it take to plan these things? How far in advance do you have to start? And logistically, what do you need to keep in mind? So any of you are welcome to take that question.
Well, the first year that we planned Northeast Walks, we started planning in January for the May event because we didn't know how long it would take. We weren't sure what we needed and what the plan was going to be. And at this point, I mean, after doing it for several years and having kind of a routine in place, it may take a few weeks because we do have to order materials or line up the volunteers. But I would say it took a couple of years. Once we got our routine in place, it really doesn't take that much time at all. The first year was critical because you didn't know how long anything was going to take, so you had to give. I mean, we were having, as I said, we had several evening meetings, so we really had to plan them out in order to do all the discussion and planning. Now we don't really even meet. We just generate the paperwork that has to get sent out and collect it and just kind of connect with people who say they want to volunteer.
This is Matt again. This is our very first year, and quite honestly, we were not prepared to have the Walk to School on the International Walk to School Day because we had too many moving pieces. It took a number of meetings, and we probably had up to 10 members of the organizing group to ensure that we had all our bases covered. Next year will be easier to roll out, and we'll probably replicate 95% of what we did this year with some tweaking just to ensure greater safety and efficiency.
And this is Sandra. Like Nadine, the first year or two, it took a lot of planning, but now, we really have it down pat. We know, all the items that we need to transport up for our park and walk stop, as far as food and chalk and all of that. So it runs much, much smoother. And, it's easy to want to give up in that first year because you're saying, oh, this is so much work and we don't have a lot of children involved. But as the energy and the momentum continue and build, and then it's just easier to do it. And now the children, because they've been here for several years, they know what to expect. And like Cindy said, it just runs, quite smoothly now.
Thanks. That's great. We have another question about what kind of financial support these schools might get from Mass Rides and from the Safe Routes to School program. So I wanted to just jump in and answer that and say that these schools are all partners with the Safe Routes to School program. So when schools sign on as a partner, they're eligible for all of the resources that we have for free. So as far as events go, Walk to School or Bike to School days, schools are invited to register events on our website. They're given assistance from us with planning, and we have a packet of resources that schools can use to plan events. And they're also welcome to order prizes from our website. We have, like little stickers and pencils and bookmarks that kids get excited about. And then, that just addresses the event days, and then there are also a number of other pieces of the program under, education, encouragement, enforcement, evaluation, and engineering. These are all pieces of the program. So at the end, we'll have information about how to become a partner with the Safe Routes to School program. But, yep, they're all partners, so they're all receiving that from us. So I have another question for all of our speakers. And we've already addressed it to some degree, but I wanted to ask it directly. What impact do you feel like these events have had on your school community? How have you seen the community change as a result of doing these events?
It's Matt, Lucy. Because it was our first year, we wanted to gather some data from some of the kids, and they wrote letters about their reflections on just the one morning. And what they appreciated was what they saw as they walked to school, a different beginning of their day. They appreciated, getting exercise, and they imagined that what it was like in the olden days, as one would said. Getting to know each other's friends better if they're on different buses. and a real excitement to do it again. So it was something small, and as one parent said that there was no cost incurred. We simply walked down the street, and yet it was one of the best experiences some of these kids have had, where ordinarily you would expect students to want much more and for parents or staff to pay for much more. And the simplicity of just walking to school was a great joy for them.
This is Sandra. Again, what he just said, about the simplicity of it. The children, they're walking down the street and they're saying, this is so much fun, and I'm having such a great time. And even if it's a little chilly or it's kind of a gray day, they're just so excited to be outside and just to have that opportunity to visit and socialize and make friends, and get to know each other. And they feel like that's almost like a parade as they're walking down the sidewalk. On the days that we do the Footloose Fridays, if for some reason we have to cancel, the children are just devastated. They're just beside themselves because they just want to be out walking. They want to be out moving. They want to be out talking with their friends. And, when we have a school community meeting, like an assembly, and I walk in the room with the golden sneakers, there's dead silence because they are so on edge as to who won. And so because we wanted to just encourage more children to do it, that's when we developed the silver sneaker, so that it wasn't the same class or the same grade winning on a regular basis. And now having the silver sneakers gives the opportunity for some of the younger kids to be involved. And when you hear a kindergartner say, I'm so excited that I could walk and that my class won the golden sneakers, that's just fabulous. And, again, it's the simplicity that kids just want to be outside and moving.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Heather didn't say this, but I would say we walk on Wednesdays, and I don't know how the weather is where you are, but it rains almost every single Wednesday. And last year it rained every Wednesday, and we walked. We didn't care. The kids didn't care. They got off the bus. They're very excited about it. It's been an incredible community builder for us. And we've joked around about having, tippy toe Thursday or switching the day of the week so we could avoid the rain. But I think part of it's now it's just. It's just the way it is. It's a walking Wednesday. It's raining, so it must be a walking Wednesday, and they flash right up, and they have their umbrellas and their hats, and we just go ahead and do it anyway.
Thanks. That's a great lifelong lesson, that you don't melt in the rain. So we have for one more question, and this is actually coming in from Twitter. The question is, how do you address these lessons about walking and biking in the classroom, and how do you reinforce them? So Cindy and Sandra, I know you talked about that a little bit, but if you want to come back to it, and the other speakers as well.
Well, we do lessons, before our neighborhood walks and before our walk to school day events. The benefits of walking and why we do this, and so we tie it into Cindy's health curriculum. I tie it into my school counseling curriculum. There's some minor overlay into the classroom with the classroom teachers, but our lessons are taught in that venue of health class.
We don't. We have a weekly all-school meeting, so we often talk to students about the benefits of walking during that time. And our phys ed teacher, who is one of the walking bus leaders, I know does some education with the students in phys ed, in the phys ed class, but we haven't done classroom lessons per se or follow up, except for when we do the grade 2 pedestrian safety program. That's included in that also.
Great, thank you. So that is all the time that we have. Thanks so much again, Cindy and Sandra and Nadine, for taking the time to talk with us, and also Matt for jumping in on a few of those questions. It's great to have you here. If your question didn't get answered, we'll be contacting you in the next few days to address it by email. And then our speakers have also agreed to be available to answer any questions that you might have for them directly. We can connect you with them. And also, I want to encourage you guys to check us out on Twitter and Facebook. We had a question coming in from Twitter today. Also, we had a question about whether you can print out the PowerPoints. We will have a recording of this webinar on our website, so you can check out our website. It's there up on the screen. And then also, please do watch your email for an evaluation. We really do value your responses, and we're always looking to improve our offerings, so please do fill those out. A couple other reminders. Please watch out for an invitation to our Massachusetts Safe Routes to School Forum, which will be in Newton during March. And then if you're really thinking about planning ahead, Massachusetts Walk and Bike to School Day will be in the first Wednesday in May. And thank you again, all of you, for participating. And please contact us at Mass Rides to implement Safe Routes to School in your community. There's Ben Hammer's contact information. And thanks so much.
Your conference is ending now. As requested by the host, please